Okay, we're live. Good to see you, Archer. How are you?
Caller, how are you?
Good. I'm tired, actually. We got Justin in the background. Good to see you. You there?
I'm right here.
Okay.
For some strange reason, I've got no idea why I seem to spend most of Wednesday in the chat on live stream. So no idea. Something must have happened, but no idea what.
Mic check. Mic check.
You sound fine.
Yeah, Mike's okay. Who are you?
Oh, he was here last week.
This is Justin.
No, as a pun on the word Mike, my apologies. I perhaps should have said, "Who's Mike?"
Who's Mike?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I remember Justin lost it. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad the election is over.
Yeah,
but I'm still getting
a lot of her people out there.
There are, and it's one of the things I try, at least on Facebook, I really try to avoid rubbing it in. Twitter, I'm still holding back, but I mean, there's a few things that were good. The New York Post had a good headline this morning. You see if I can bring that up.
Quick crying on camera and posting on TikTok?
No, it's even better. Let me bring it up. Covers. There we go. Here, let me bring on the present part. Whoopsie.
Blue.
And yeah. I actually have been reading the New York Post for probably 27 years. Because when I lived in New Jersey after college, it was the paper I subscribed to, and just been reading it ever since.
How was Jersey?
That's 1997. I liked it. I mean, being a small farm kid, going to the big city, it was fun.
Mm. That's where they have the Andy Kubert School of Art is in Jersey. Somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually wanted my daughter to go to that school because she loves art. She thought about it and I went, ooh, Jersey. I'm not sure if I want to send one of my kids off into the Jersey world.
It depends what part.
Isn't that a bit of the way, all the way across the Atlantic and down to just below France?
Well, it's right on the Atlantic. I mean, it's
north. No, it's down here just below Normandy.
Oh.
You're talking about New Jersey.
America's New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. It's an odd thing. They actually, I remember there was an episode of, I think it must have been Bergerac, which was a British. It was a British detective series set on the island of Jersey.
What is it called again?
Bergerac.
Okay.
With John Nettles, actually, before he became when he did Midsummer Murders. But one of the, I remember one of the actual story, I think it was one of the actuals started in America. Oh, nice. And they're talking about Jersey. Another Freshman, played by an Englishman, I think. But no, because it starts off about Jersey, and I think this particular episode starts off in the States, and they're talking about Jersey, and about 5 minutes in there, and they sort of, no, Jersey, not New Jersey, Jersey.
Regular Jersey.
Yeah, regular Jersey.
Yeah.
It was a big week this week.
Oh, gee. Are those new ones?
This is everything that's coming next week. And I got half of my Lunar order. They had to split it. That's my DC and my Image. They had to split it into 2 boxes, and one of them is still on the way. I'm not sure how an order can get split up between Indiana, Chicago, here, but we're tiptoeing the Christmas season, so a lot of people are, a lot of stuff's being shipped. But I was just flashing this while you were turned around. This is one of the covers for the new G.I. Joe book.
Okay, I was wondering about it.
Yeah, David Finch is a favorite artist. His stuff looks perfect. Awesome. And I was just showing off some show and tell. Here it is.
Well, I mean, I got some that I was digging out because Gary mentioned
1 in 100.
Nice.
This is the 1 in 100 John Boy Myers. And I'm gonna spoil something right here. Ooh, there you go. One of those DC Comics Presents is the first appearance of some of the Titans, I think. Starfire and some of the other ones. But this is if you can see that is Starscream upper torso attached to a Hiss tank. So yeah, run out next week and get your Transformers number 14, and you can find out what in the world is going on right there.
Wow.
So, good times.
Yeah, I remember because if I remember right, the original Titan or the original Teen Titans, I remember when I had the new Teen Titans when it first came out from the first comic. About the same time the New Mutants came out, but I think I then realized later on that the Teen Titans had already been in the comics, but I hadn't seen them before then.
Well, I'll just mention to Justin, I'm still on the hunt for the Superman Golden Omnibus, volume number 6.
Just because old, not a print, or is it brand new?
Well, it's out of print, but the ones I've seen, it's going for at least a few hundred.
Wow.
I wonder why it's so expensive.
I think it's because it's getting into the era of Superman when he was really good.
Was it the John Byrne run that they did, that volume 2?
Late 40s.
Oh, okay. Might be.
Because I have number 3 and number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished the first Silver Age omnibus.
Well, let me know if there's any new ones you need, because when it comes to like those gigantic expensive books, I cut my people huge discounts because it's not something we stock in the store. So,
well, some of them, the thing is, the ones I've been buying outside of the Silver Age ones, I've been getting on eBay, because the one that I just got right here, this one I'm looking forward to reading because it's during World War II.
Oh yeah.
But this one I got for $40 on eBay.
Oh, that's a steal. What's the SRP on the back there where the UPC code? It should have an SRP.
The 5-digit number.
Oh, it should there's not a price on the back. Usually they have.
Oh yeah, there is. It's $75.
Oh, okay. So that was its price. Okay, so yeah, that's about right. They're making about 10-15% if their discount is normal.
But yeah, this volume is going from, let me see, fall of '93 to summer '45.
Yeah, my guilty pleasure for collected editions is the leather-bound Marvel Masterworks. I've been particularly collecting the Uncanny X-Men series. slowly but steadily. I'm missing about 5 volumes, but they've been thankfully they've been reprinting them. So if you've missed them, you can eventually go back and get them. But they love a high price point. It's a beautiful book. I take off the dust cover and toss that, and it looks like my law books.
Wow.
I'll say X-Men on them.
Nice.
X-Men law. Oh, here we go. What do we got here? We got Psylocke #1 coming out next week. She's looking all cool and awesome. Yeah.
English
Keep an eye out.
superhero.
Art Germ's a fan favorite, so keep your eyes out for the Art Germ cover for those looking for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is she still English?
You know, they really screwed her up, in my opinion. There was a point in the X-Men here in the last couple of years where they decided to say that she had a split personality, and then Betsy Braddock, who is the English version of Psylocke, was one personality, and then Psylocke was another personality within her that they now call Quanon. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm terrible with that kind of stuff. And so they have two separate characters. They have Betsy Braddock, who is currently Captain Britain. So she's Captain Britain.
I was going to say, wasn't her brother Captain Britain?
Yes. And then during the whole X of Swords, I think was the crossover where they had a lot, like they brought Excalibur in like really hard, which was great to see that, because Excalibur was always kind of the step brother to the main 3 X-Men books everybody was reading. Excalibur was a lot of fun, but it wasn't something people picked up and went, oh, this is definitely an X-Men book. But it was.
Yeah.
And so they had a whole thing going with them that was really good. They created a lot of good stories out of that whole Hoxpox X-Men crossover stuff. But she became Captain Marvel once her brother was like, no, go ahead. I've had enough or whatever.
Yeah, I must admit, I've been out of them for several decades, but I know some of the things that go on, but I haven't actually kept up with them. I think I've been out. I don't think I've read DC. I don't think I've read DC since before the second set of Crises, Infinite Crisis on Infinite Crisis on Infinite, whatever it was. I might have been. I definitely was for the first one. I might have been around for the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying, the Marvel, I used to have a load of. Most of my Marvel was the X-Men books, and New Mutants and that as well. But I'm going to send you a few bits and pieces and see people talk about what's up there. But I had a few of those in the day.
Nice.
That's a
Lois Lane.
Yes.
What's he speaking on there?
The what?
Is that English? I think I was looking at the dialogue. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, he's finally learned to. He's finally discovered his fixation with the letters LL.
Yes, it's like I didn't know if those were English words. Other names, they're all weird names.
Or his writer's name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's one of those lightning lass in there as well. In fact, Father.
I don't know. I own probably about 90 of the Lois Lane comics. About 100 of Jimmy Olsen.
I used to have some. I don't think I had any of the Jimmy Olsen ones. I remember them, but this is way back in the 60s.
I just loved it because it was full of corn. And after they ended Jimmy Olsen,
most Iowans.
Well, after they ended the Lois Lane Jimmy Olsen, they merged it into the Superman family, which I have the whole series.
Yeah,
like 50 comics. Interesting.
Yeah,
I've got a bunch here. Just gonna keep flashing while you're talking.
Lord Thor says he has about 50 each of Lois and Jimmy.
What's Judge Dredd doing in a G.I. Joe on a G.I. Joe cover?
Is that what we thought? Is this one here?
Yeah.
That's Cobra Commander. It's a Lee Bermejo cover. He's got Duke coming at him in the shield. But yeah, Cobra Commander's, he's been around longer. Well, has he been around longer than Dredd? Is Dredd 70s?
I think so. Dredd. I know Dredd came in issue 2 2000 AD, and I had 2000 AD from issue 1. But I couldn't actually.
I think that was definitely 70s. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, but that's Cobra Commander. He showed up in '82, so we'll give the credit to the cool look to Dredd on that one.
Yeah.
I'm just loving this. I can't wait to read this. I haven't read it. I just got home. I get off around 2, so I just got home and I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens with a Starscream on a tank body. Oh my goodness!
So I got to share something Gary put on Twitter.
Yeah,
I was
yeah, we should
never
talk
into
about
ours.
that some more. Yeah,
Oh dear.
my God. Glasses because I can't see anything anymore.
Anyway, I guess
I-
did it play?
No,
And all I see is there was a little bit of video, but I didn't hear anything.
Okay, let me try again one more time.
it's I think it's muted as well. I can see the looks like the sound's muted on YouTube.
Okay, hold on. I'm
okay.
going to try a different window in this.
Oh,
I have a few different windows opened.
Oh, thank you, Lord Sloth. 2nd to 5th of March 2082, 5th of March 1977.
Yeah,
What
that
was that?
sounds about right. I was thinking
Oh,
like
okay.
70s.
Let's see. Oh, we
I
got
just I
Ian is
decide-
here. Good to see
Hey,
ya.
Ian.
Ian,
Hello.
you mega geek.
I've decided actually we might be losing out from your election because apparently a load of your celebrities are coming over here. We don't want
I'm
them.
so sorry.
We don't
Hey,
want them.
but we took in Megan and Harry.
Every time. We're going to leave the country. When? Please. Is it soon?
I
Yeah,
will say, I don't know if you got or Justin would know it, but over here we have the View, which is
Yeah,
like
I know it, yeah.
Goldberg and all them.
Yep.
Clamshell.
We
Watch.
have a
Totally.
different version. We have Loose Women,
Yeah.
but it's based on The View, and the Loose Women are just as bad as
Is that what
The
it's
View.
really called?
Which
Yeah,
way round
Loose
was
Women.
I?
It's called Loose Women.
Yeah. I used to watch Loose Women many years ago now, and it used to be reasonably good a lot of the time.
Do you
So
know
many
what?
jokes.
Right.
But I've
So
no
many
idea
jokes.
who's on it now. Yeah.
There's one episode of Loose Women which made me laugh, and it was reported in the newspapers. William Shatner was on
Oh,
right
gee.
on Loose
He's been on
Women,
some loose women.
and he was saying things like women belong in the kitchen, and men are this and stuff. And you should have seen
Only
their
the ones who can
faces.
cook.
Yeah, you should have seen their faces. They were really, you could tell they weren't really happy with what he was saying.
Yeah.
But God bless him, he stuck
Yeah,
to
he's
his
from
guns.
that era where you slap
Yeah.
a woman if she cut out of line. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that whole generation. Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
talked about that in his earlier specials.
If I could
Not that I
find-
would ever do it. My wife would probably punch me in the face. But what are you going to do? He's the Sean Connery era.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yes.
I'm never sure. There's a lot of these programs. I'm never sure if we started it or you started it.
No, it was
Because-
definitely The View.
The View
copied
came
The
first.
View.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
there's,
fair
there's
enough.
more loudmouth women who don't know their place in America.
Oof.
Mm.
Yeah,
I told my daughters, "Hey, check out the stream today. You might enjoy it."
Girls, I would simply say, well, there's a lot more people in America, so by the sheer law of averages, there's going to be more of just about everything in America than over here.
It's a little bit bigger space.
here we go.
Yeah.
This is for Justin.
Your island is not growing.
Yeah.
Hey, funny or not, I got my wife a vacuum for Christmas one year because she said we need a new vacuum, and I said, okay, I'll get you one. It wasn't like it was her only gift, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is though, women. Let's face it, women do. They need to be. How should I put it?
Careful.
Not balanced, but they they deserve a lot of attention and love and stuff like that. But then on the flip side, so does men. Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand this divide. They're trying to, the society, especially the society in charge, is trying to divide us. Women, men and women, black and white, everything. They're trying to separate us. It's
Well, it's that
ridiculous.
whole movement where they've been destroying the male persona. Like
Yeah.
over the years, men are bad, men are toxic, we hate men, blah
Yeah.
blah. I says men are going to save your life someday, and you're going to change your mind. But going against the natural order of male versus female and the roles that we play in each other's lives, when you fight against that, you create rifts, and then you
Yeah.
have men who don't want anything to do with you because you've
Yeah.
convinced them they're not worth it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll go over here and I'll spend all my money on comic books and live my life alone and unhappy, I guess.
That's crazy. I mean, it's whether you come from it from a point of view of God and creation or nature or whatever. Men and women, male and female, are designed to complement each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
as you say, if you
they
go
are.
against that, it just as a general rule, which is the only way you can the only way you can attach attack any of these ideas. You have to do it in general, it's not on an individual level. But if you start going against that, it becomes quite literally unnatural.
Mm.
Yeah, they
Oh my
constantly tear down the natural order of things and say that it's the wrong way, and then it screws everybody up, which is why you have these entire generations of people and kids and stuff that are coming up saying, I don't know what I identify as. Well, that's a mistake. That you should know exactly who you are and what you are, and then you work on accepting who you are, what you are, and living your life based on those things.
Mm. Well, they say the reason why Trump won was because people were getting tired of being called racists and bigots and phobes and all that kind of stuff, and they just, they voted with their feet. Basically, that's what they did.
Yeah, it's been half a decade of being told I'm this, and this, and I've been put in this category. Says you cannot define any individual in this world by putting them into a category.
Yeah.
You can't even say that a conservative is a conservative anymore because we have different viewpoints. Mine are very middle of the road, but when it comes to protecting my country and accounting for every dollar that you take from the American people and then spend on policy, I'm very conservative because I don't think there should be any leeway in keeping track of that. I mean, we spend billions of taxpayer dollars. We send all our money over to the Ukraine. I do not agree with that. I think that kind of stuff, that's where I'm conservative. But on living your life and being happy, that's kind of any of the social issues. I think most conservatives say, look, whatever you need to do to make yourself happy, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else and destroy you as a person, go ahead and figure out what it is that makes you happy, but leave everybody else alone.
Yeah.
You don't need to push your lifestyle on everybody else to make yourself happy. If you need us to validate your lifestyle, there's something wrong with your lifestyle. That's just...
It's all very interesting.
So, I don't know if you guys have seen this chart before, but they did the comparison of the votes over the last 4 elections.
Oh,
and one of them sticks out.
That's an indictment right there. I hadn't seen that one yet.
So it's no, that can't be percentage, can it? That must be. Is that millions?
Well, that 2020, that blue bar, that was when everybody and their dead dog was voting.
No, I was wondering. I think because it seems to be almost exactly the Democrat popular vote seems to be exactly the same level for 3 different elections.
Well, that's the thing. It's like in the mid 60s, and then it jumped to 81 million, and then it's like down 15 million over the last election.
Back to what it seems to have been. Much, So
I mean, I never really believed in the conspiracies, but this does make
that's a stolen election. You can, I mean, you have to be a
case for it.
Well, I'm
you have more people voting in a district than actually live in that district, and that was reported in several different places. And it's astounding to think, as the citizens of this country, is we just kind of went, okay, there's nothing we can do about it, and the people who are in charge aren't going to do anything about it. I guess we just do this for 4 years, and that is just a horrible realization that this country would allow that to happen because the people we put in charge aren't taking action. And yeah,
well,
things have changed.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I thought it was going to be neck and neck with those two, but then when I woke up the next day, right, it was a landslide. But you know what's interesting about the whole thing is that usually when we have an election over here, there's usually, it's on the radio, it's on TV, so and so on, whatever. There was hardly any reports on when he won over here. There was on the radio they said it, but they didn't go into it in detail. The BBC was during the night, according to my sister, she was watching during the night. BBC, thought that Harris was gonna do it, so they were all slagging off Trump. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's it's obvious that they wanted her to win, but
Well, not so obvious. There's a lot of people coming out now on the Democratic side of things there that were also kind of relieved that, because I'm thinking in the future, Trump's elected, I'm happy with that. I think he's going to give us something we need. He's going to set things right the way they need to be as far as the responsible things. But I think in 4 years, when he's no longer able to run, and then the Democrats have to actually vet their candidate, they can't just slide her in. We will see, hopefully, a group of people that is a reset for us. We will get some younger people. We'll get more middle, bringing the Democrats and the Republicans more middle.
They won't, because the Governor Newsom of California is supposedly going to run. And I will say, I will not vote.
We'll have to get through the voting process. There'll be 12 candidates at least.
Yeah. But I mean, the governor of Illinois supposedly going to run.
Well,
I-
Look at their economic plan. He won't make it very far.
what I found quite interesting with that chart you just had up there, Father, it seems almost as if you've got almost the reverse happened in your last two elections, what happened in our last election with the Republicans. It seems you've got roughly the same amount of Democrats at every election apart from the last one.
Well,
But
when is
you gradually got an increase in Republican voters coming out to vote, whereas the only reason Labour won our last election was because nobody came out to vote.
I was going to say, when is the next general election? Or it was within a year, wasn't it?
Our last general election, July the 4th.
Okay. Because I think I remember
Your
watching
election,
BBC
November
over
5th.
here.
Honestly, that should be our election day too.
Yeah. I said, no, it's odd because November the 5th, bonfire night, go for
Okay, so
to us.
Justin, I don't know if you saw, but Trump supposedly wants to have a 250th anniversary national celebration at the Iowa State Fair.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I saw
Let
something.
me see if I can bring up the article.
I'm not prideful. I'm not being, I'm not saying our place is better than yours, but honestly, I think out of all the states in the United States, Iowa is right up there. Top one. I mean, there's no more down to earth group of people that would. I mean, I went to New York for a day on my honeymoon. We went to Pennsylvania. We drove to New York for a day, and that's all I could take of that kind of place.
I could
here
hear
are more
some of our
grounded.
classmates.
It's okay.
Well,
I'm not going to on the stream.
Oh, and Kim Reynolds, I'll tell you what, I've never been happy with a politician like 100% behind her, but she's getting ready to get rid of state income tax here in Iowa, and I'm like, great, that's just another good move for us. We don't need that, you don't need that money. You get plenty of other money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old enough to, showing my age, I'm old enough to relatively vaguely remember your last your bicentennial.
Yeah, I
remember when our hometown, Chris, celebrated our sesquicentennial.
I remember that.
Yep.
150
years.
America's like 10 times bigger than our country. You've got 10 times bigger problems.
Yeah,
there's a lot of land out there.
They reckon entire UK will fit in Texas or something.
Yeah, it will.
Like
Yeah, it will.
We have to grow the food for all the countries that have sand everywhere. So
I will say, and Justin might be interested, Gary did an announcement on his stream. He's going to try to have a meetup in Wisconsin because Wisconsin went for Trump.
I might go to that.
I might have to come back for that.
We'll come back here. I'll drive.
Well, I thought was into also
we get Father Paul in, and that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll take his car. That man drive. What does he drive? He drives a Dodge Challenger, I think, or a Camaro or something. He rolls up on Comic Day, and I'm like, look at this guy in his car. This is not the car I expect my local priest to be driving. But, he rolls in. We'll get there pretty fast in his car.
I think what those maps showed also something I found emphasized something even more so is that most of the blue areas were cities.
It's a dense concentration of the public.
Off the West Coast.
I'm trying to bring that one up right now.
You may not know this, Arthur, but our districts in our states, they have spent the last 50 to 60, 70 years finding ways to redraw the districts so that they can find ways to get more electoral votes, which is more dirty, underhanded.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Right.
Now, granted, the blue areas are usually, almost always, the more densely compacted populations. And I have said this for years. I tell my kids this all the time. I says, you need to challenge your thoughts and your opinions by surrounding yourself with people that aren't exactly like you. And I think what you see here is people in one area surrounding themselves with people that think exactly the same. And then they walk around thinking they're right all the time. They don't have any idea that they might be wrong.
This is the reason we have the Electoral College.
Yeah.
So that way, California, New York does not dictate what happens in the rest of the country.
I just hope for you guys' sake that Trump, isn't using this whole system to his advantage and thinking about making more money. I hope that his intentions is to help America, to help the economy and all that stuff. I just hope, because you never know with these things,
Right.
But
that's a valid thought. It really is.
But I mean, he is, if I remember right, I said he's the only president or the only one in recent decades, who actually came out of the presidency poorer than he went in. Not that he's poor by any means.
And if you look at the
but
last
he
4 or
didn't
5
take any
presidents,
money. And
you can see how their wealth has jumped,
yeah.
Yes.
especially with like Barack Obama went in being worth only so much, and then he's worth almost $1 billion.
Isn't that
I'm guessing.
interesting, though? You know,
Well, they're allowed to change
it's-
laws to their benefit without
Yeah,
paying
but-
the consequence of insider trading.
what I'm saying is that it's interesting that because of the color of your skin, you get you get a pass on something. It's crazy to think that is what I mean. Like Obama, right? Everybody, like all the normies, think Obama did well, and maybe he did do well, but they're more interested in because he is a man of color than what he achieved when he was in there. The same thing with this Kamala. You know,
Yeah.
my sisters were going, yeah, they should, be the first time a woman as the president. They should have been voting for her and stuff. I'm like, but is she good for the country though? That's the question. Is she good? And the
Well,
answer
Hillary
is no.
proved that when Hillary ran for
Yeah.
president.
Yeah.
The women
Teresa.
the women did not
Martin.
turn out for Hillary. Miss Martin.
Hello, Miss
Okay.
Martin.
Hey, kid, looks like we made America great again.
You
Well, it
did.
does
Oh,
seem that
I-
way, right?
Is our applause soundbite?
Well, someone was pointing out as on the trail that one of the things that Trump did is a lot of, obviously it's staged, but you expect that you expect it's a publicity thing. You expect it to be staged to a degree, but things like when he was, I can't remember who it was, but when that Marine's hat flew off and the Marine is not allowed to move, and Trump didn't have to do it. He just went over, picked the hat up, went back and put the hat on that Marine's head to save the Marine from beating the embarrassment of things like that. I think these things like,
Yeah, they
like
take that very seriously.
Yeah. But more
But
to
also-
the point that you can't fake it. That's not the
Yeah,
sort
but
of thing you
also-
think it's been like.
Trump, right, did something that was really clever. He realized that the power is within people on YouTube and the what you call it, the podcasts and stuff like that. And he did quite a few. He did the most famous one is obviously the Rogan one.
Rogan.
Oh,
Yeah,
I heard
and-
about. I
and-
didn't get to watch it, but my wife said it
Yeah.
was fantastic.
And what's her
Yeah.
name? Didn't she? They wanted her on, but she was like, "No, the questions got to be this, and this," and trying to. It's like, and Rogan was like, "No, it's just meant to be a chat." Do you know what I mean? It's like, and she didn't do it, so that didn't help her either.
But
So
she
there you
did.
go.
What's his name on CNN? And he kept trying to. What's the famous guy from CNN? The old newscaster, white hair,
Oh, Cooper.
Cooper. And you could see him trying to save her because she
Yeah.
just. I mean, if you couldn't see that she was just a bland, placeholder for the Democratic Party.
Mm.
I don't know why
Well,
they didn't
and-
find somebody else.
Well, they really thought that they had this mandate from 2020 and that if they could get Biden elected, for crying out loud, well, it wouldn't matter. People were going to be blue no matter who. And also another thing that Trump did that was very smart, he went on EWTN. It was very briefly on the world over, but he actually reached out to people. And here's the thing. You can't go around and, first of all, threaten Catholics. No, thank you. White men sit around and bash white men. They're always telling us white men are the majority in privilege. It's like, yeah. So you sit around and you dump on white men, you dump on Catholics, you dump on practicing Jews, you dump on black men. They even managed to make the Amish mad.
I couldn't
for
believe
crying
that
out
when they
loud.
had the guy on CNN talking about how now black men and Hispanic men are now racist, misogynist. I was like,
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot
What's going on?
Latinos. They made sorry, Father. They made the
I gotta
Latinos
do it.
mad.
I gotta do it.
Oh, I can't.
right now is shame, 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 shame.
It's like it's a height of arrogance to think you can isolate everybody on the planet and think that it's okay. We'll still vote for you.
So I got to play 1 minute of Gutfeld from the other night because it's just perfect.
he's the best. He's hilarious.
So it's true, Kamala Harris got shellacked like a hardwood floor on this old house. And instead of an evening concession speech, she avoided her supporters like Hunter Biden dodging child support. For the first time, she wasn't laughing. Although you got to admit, this is pretty hilarious. Watch.
Are there any places where Kamala Harris overperformed from where Biden did?
So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
By 3% or more.
Well, listen, guys,
That was
listen.
brilliant.
Did you not look immediately when Biden got in, right? And I saw that woman standing next to him. I knew that this was just a ploy to get a woman of color as president. I knew it. That the moment I saw them together, the moment when they placed her in that position, I just knew that's what we're going to do.
So
And
what do you
that's
think
exactly
the
what they
odds
did.
are that Biden resigns before January and she becomes temporary president?
Ooh, I
Zero.
didn't
'cause
think
he-
about that.
No, they were awful to him.
Did you see he was like really coherent the other day when he did his congratulations
Oh
speech
yeah,
about
that's
Trump?
what-
Apparently he was all normal for a minute.
And he was happy as a lark. He was happy as a clam, rather. And with Jill Biden wearing red, what they did to Biden was dirty. And so I think that Biden is gonna,
That was his double.
not give it
Well,
to her at all.
Biden
Okay.
did himself dirty for being a crook his entire life. That man has
Oh,
been in
yeah.
politics
that
longer than I've
too.
been alive. And he
Oh, that
covered
too,
for
but hell
everybody.
hath no fury like a Biden
Yeah.
scorn, though.
True.
You know what I
Very
mean?
true.
Okay, I hate to do this, Father, but I just got a message that I've got to go pick up a
No,
dog.
no, I'm glad you
So,
came for even.
Thank you.
Glad
Glad
you were
you.
here for even
Yeah.
meal.
Nice to see you.
We'll
All
have to
right,
stream
bye.
soon.
Catch y'all later.
Bye. I was watching her show, she's quite an intelligent woman,
Mhm.
Miss Martin Muse. She's very intelligent. And I was listening to her show once. I was thinking, this woman's too intelligent to be on YouTube. What's going on here?
Get her own view show with people that you want to
yeah,
listen
exactly.
She was smart enough to interview me, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Actually.
to. Oddly enough, I have not been invited.
Well, you're
I'm
new.
small. I'm small. I'm very small. I haven't
Well,
done
I
anything
saw.
yet.
I like to tell you guys. I saw this film called The Heretic with Hugh Grant. It's a horror film. Well, it's not a horror film. It's like a thriller horror, so to speak. And Father, I will not recommend you watching it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, because there's a sequence in there where they try to. Well, he had I guess his logic about religion kind of makes sense to people who don't believe. So there's a sequence in it where he talks about religion. He uses Monopoly as an example and music as an example and stuff like that. So
You get
it's
that
an
once in a
interesting
while.
film, though. If you ever get the chance to see it, Hugh Grant's magnificent in it, and it works. But a lot of people get upset, especially the Jewish people and the Christians, will get upset on a certain
Hey,
sequence.
the one that I want to rewatch, and I probably will, is The Menu. With
I haven't
Ralph
seen that
Fiennes.
yet. Is that good?
Oh, you haven't seen that?
No, I haven't.
You have got. I mean, it's one of those that it
I haven't
really
seen it.
is good.
All right. Okay.
Who's in the menu?
Ralph Fiennes and
Ooh,
other stars as well.
I'll take
There's a bit in it
Ralph
where the woman wants a burger, and he says,
Yeah.
"I'll give you the best burger."
Yeah. Okay, I've seen that clip. Okay,
I've seen that
I
clip,
want
yeah.
to see his acting is
movie.
so intense, and she's intense in that as well.
Yeah.
Just that one scene
Very
makes
good
me wanna
movie.
see it.
Right.
He's in a new movie now, a Catholic-based, electing another pope movie.
Oh no! Don't watch
Oh,
that.
don't see that.
Don't watch that. That's
Bad
slagging off
movie?
the.
I read the book when it came out because Robert Harris wrote a book in the 90s called Fatherland. I remember reading it in high school because it was on alternative history where Hitler won.
Fatherland, I think, was it Fatherland? I think I read. There's a couple, but sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. But anyway, I've been reading Robert Harris ever
Yeah.
since, and I read Conclave, and I loved it up to the end where the Pope is now like one that's born with both female and male organs.
Yeah. But you know why Hollywood did that, right?
Mhm.
Everybody knows why Hollywood. As I'm saying, all they're doing is basically trying to destroy the structure of what is good. That's what, have you not noticed that about the films they put out, about the things they talk about? The biggest thing now is all the evil people in any kind of genre, they're just misunderstood.
Well, the
paint-
Critical Drinker had a good video that came out
No,
today
Yeah,
talking about Hollywood, and
yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
saw
just
that.
again, it's just the thing that led up to the election, like the Avengers
Oh,
video
there's
trying to
idiots,
support
yeah.
Harris. It's just
Idiots. They're
Help
all
us see
Yeah,
how much
pretty
they
much.
got paid for all these things that they did. I mean, when I saw Eminem campaigning in Detroit, like not campaigning, but like throwing support on the Kamala Harris, I'm like, really? Eminem? That's Okay.
Isn't he English?
No.
no,
I
he's
don't think so.
he's
He's straight American.
He's
Oh,
American. Yeah.
I
In the
thought-
slums of Detroit.
His name is actually Marshall Mathers. It's
Oh,
not,
I know. It makes him to be that he's a white rapper, and most rappers are black. That might be not on a racing, but rap being in America generally black, as I understand. That,
Oh
that
yeah,
may
hip hop
be
has always
confusing.
fallen into that category. But of
Yeah,
course,
gotta
you cannot
be.
forget about the Beastie Boys, the Holy Beastie
no.
Boys, the original white rappers in our country that were
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah, that may be what I'm thinking rather than being
Hmm.
British. I'm conflating it with American. And,
Can I change the subject slightly? Are you guys looking
Please.
forward to Christmas? That's all I
Too
can ask.
soon.
Is that
Too soon.
too soon?
What am I
No,
missing?
No,
There we go.
no.
I'm gonna jump back because I want to put an earworm out.
Oh, hang on. What am I missing?
Oh my God, no. I don't even know what that guy's saying in that song.
That's 80s music. That's
That's
80s,
it,
90s
that's
hip
the
hop.
oh,
90s.
was that Hebrew?
I have
No,
no
no.
idea what he's saying.
Yeah, let's see.
I-
Okay, there we go.
Informer.
He's just making up words.
What?
So it sounds like Hebrew. I've been watching the Rabbi too much.
Remember Cindy? Yeah, maybe. No, that's just 90s white rapper. There's a lot of stuff like Girth, like that's not like him. Like Color Me Bad was one of those.
That was his only song, really.
There's so much good music in the 90s. I don't care who you are. There was great music out of the 90s.
Films as
All
well. Films, music,
that R&B stuff that we got to have.
right across the board. It was. We didn't know that. We didn't realize how good we had it in the 80s and the 90s, man. It was.
You know, I was never a big Clinton fan, but I kept telling everybody, so I would love a Clinton over any of these last few candidates we have. But that era of coming out of the Reagan, Bush, and then into the Clinton era was some of the greatest. Like I keep telling my kids, there was, as far as I ever saw, at least on the news, there was racism and prejudice and hatred was nowhere to be seen
No.
when I was like 20 to 27 years old. Like that area was just, everybody was happy.
It all started in 2000 with Bush.
You know what? I was
90s.
on one live stream and this guy was saying to us, "Well, nothing's really changed." And I'm like, I was in McDonald's a couple of days ago and I saw a family of white people and black people laughing, joking with each other and stuff like that. You go back in the 60s, that would be nowhere to be seen in England.
black in my
You're
family.
telling
In
me
fact,
that nothing's changed?
I have a very, very upset nephew about the election. He was definitely pulling for the other side, and I get it. His family's more Democratic than they are Republican, conservative. But yeah, I mean, we get together and visit each other. Heck, he comes to cons with me. He's gone to Fan Expo and C2E2, I think.
All right, cool.
Well, in the 60s, there weren't that many black people in this country.
I was in Fan Expo, was it 8 years ago?
Wow.
When it was the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, I was there.
Well,
Fan Expo was very, to get on that subject, Fan Expo was very unique this year because my daughter is like, we're going to go see Hayden Christensen, old Anakin showed up. And I was never, like, I'm old enough that wasn't my generation Star Wars, obviously, but it was my daughter who's now 22. She'll be 23 in April. My goodness.
Yeah.
And I never seen one of my daughters get so giddy when we met Hayden
great.
Christensen. And got his autograph. It's on the wall. I was the same way when I got to meet Gina, because Gina and Drunk 3PO were there. And
All right.
I had missed her when she bailed the year before or 2 years before. So it was nice to see her. But Mark Hamill was also there. And they had a whole floor upstairs above the con that was just separated for the big stars. Like they'd be behind the curtain. So you waited, you went through the curtain, you got to see them. And Mark had half the room and Hayden had the other half the room. And Mark's line was moving like really quick. And then some guy went over and got his autograph, came back over Hayden. And I said, how was it? Because I was not going to meet Mark Hamill after what I saw. With that whole Washington press conference, all that crap, everything he said. I'm like, I don't want to meet it. And he said he was like, he didn't even look at the guy when he signed his, thank you. Oh, great. And he was looking at the table and signed, thanks a lot for you. And he'd look over it for the next one.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
The most
because-
impersonal thing. Yeah, it's not even cool. Like Hayden, shook my daughter's hand and said hi to her and talked to her for a minute. She paid him a compliment. I mean, we get it. Celebrities, there's a lot of people there and you got to move the line. But the Mark Hamill signing was like $500-600, something like that.
Wow.
Yes, Mark, you are perfectly correct. You have finally managed to break through the bubble. You are not living in the America you thought you were living in.
Do
you know,
Well spotted, that man.
Do you know what, right, guys? I actually met the full cast of Empire Strikes Back.
I remember you mentioned that thing in London,
and,
wasn't it?
And yeah, it was in London. And you
Favorite
know what?
film?
And you know what, right? When I met Mark Hamill, he was very young and he was very, very nice, and he was very enthusiastic and signed my book and everything. And the only person that was grumpy was Harrison Ford in the
Shocking.
lineup, in the lineup. So,
He's always grumpy.
yeah, everyone was joyful.
I'm
Even
surprised you
George
got to meet
Lucas
him
was
because
happy.
he doesn't do that stuff.
Yeah.
But the observation I had the other day is Hamill. I can enjoy Hamill's earlier stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
New stuff I can't. Just like Alec Baldwin, loved him in Beetlejuice, Hunt for Red October.
Oh yeah.
New stuff I can't do.
Hey,
Yeah.
great film. A great film with Mark Hamill in it. If you haven't seen it, it's The Big Red One.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And make sure you get the reconstructed version that the director's daughter helped put together. It is phenomenal.
Do you remember the show from the 90s, the original Flash TV show?
Yeah.
With
With-
Barry?
Hamill was in it.
Trickster. Yeah, Trickster.
Yeah.
He played
Yeah,
the Trickster.
with
Trickster.
Remember him in that?
Amanda Pace was the
Oh yeah,
love
she's
interest,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Was gorgeous.
and I can't remember the actor's name, but he actually played Barry's father.
Yeah, in the new
Gus's
show.
father
The
in
new
the
show,
CW
yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
that's
did.
cool.
yeah.
John
I remember
Wilson-
Mark Hamill
Yeah.
showing up for what was the submarine show with the sci-fi submarine? Deep Deep
Sequest.
something.
Sequest.
Sequest, yes, because it was a video game I used to play on my Atari. And he was in that as a guest actor or something for a couple episodes, I think it was.
In those days, you
I-
didn't have to pay to see them. That you just line up. They were sitting
Yeah.
at a table. They will sign your stuff. I mean, I remember meeting Stan Lee a long time ago at.
Oh, I
Forbidden
never
Planet.
got
Yeah,
to.
you were saying
He was
on,
lovely. Yeah, it was
Wednesday.
so nice.
Okay, well, this is for Justin since he's never seen it.
Oh.
I watched the Flash TV show. That was the
Okay,
Barry
I
Allen
think you
Flash.
had it.
I just don't remember Mark Hamill being on the show.
Okay,
He
well,
plays
let's-
the trickster.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember the scene where he drops the briefcase and candy bars spill
Yeah.
out. I remember the one episode, I think it was the last one I watched, where he was on a pressure plate. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was hamming it up. Very hamming it up.
That explains. That's great.
But this is the thing, you see. What I find interesting about filmmakers that actually did that, especially at that time. What were you thinking of putting him in a costume like that and making him laugh like the
No,
Joker?
Baker,
the
What were you
90s.
thinking?
No, why would Colin Baker wear that nightmare costume?
Oh Lord, yeah.
Yeah, well,
90s.
he didn't want to, but he was forced into wearing it,
In,
wasn't he? By the
in
producer.
the case of the Flash, I should imagine, or Mark Hamill there, I should imagine it's a case of they were. Just looking at, they were obviously they were obviously trying to recapture the 66 Batman
yeah, they were.
vibe of trying to make it look like comics. They got bright primary colors for starters.
Yeah. There was probably
problem-
also a lot of cocaine involved.
Yes.
It was
Oh, yeah.
90s.
The problem of Hollywood then and now is we have people that are in charge that have no clue about IPs, none whatsoever.
They
And that's
lived
the
that
problem.
entire life. They didn't have to grow up like working. Like Harrison Ford was a
Exactly.
carpenter before he got Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah,
You know, you hear that all the time. These actors, they come up in actor families, they go right into acting, and they've never lived what we would call a normal existence in America, which is having to get up, go to your job, and work every day. Because if you don't eat. You know?
Well, you don't realize how old Harrison Ford is now and was then. I mean, he was in bloody Kung Fu, man. He was
Yeah,
in an
that's
episode
really
of
wow.
Kung Fu.
No, also,
Oh, I didn't know that. I've only seen a few
Yeah.
episodes.
Dare,
Sorry, was that Father?
where Eagles Dare.
He was in Eagles Dare, yeah, but that was when he was
Oh,
famous.
yes, he
though,
was. Yes,
Father.
Yeah, he was, wasn't
He's
he?
been in a lot
Um,
of stuff before he was
well, that's
famous,
not bad.
Harrison Ford. You know,
I liked him in Working Girl.
yeah, he was all right. Yeah, he
Eh.
was cool working.
Was it?
Melanie Griffiths and she
No,
was
no,
in
I'm
it.
thinking was
funny,
you saying about before they're famous. Was it Michael Caine was supposed to have said he spent 20 years earning the overnight success of when he was in Zulu or something along those lines.
Yeah, Zulu was the film that put him forward
Yeah.
for Hollywood, and then he did
Oh, I
Alfie.
remember that film. Yeah.
Alfie,
Yeah.
and then Alfie just literally, you know.
I was genuinely so disappointed when I discovered they didn't actually have a sing off at the real Battle of Rorke's Drift.
He was the first person to hear the Goldfinger song because
Yes,
he used to
someone
live with John
thought
Barry, and one night he was trying to sleep and John Barry was playing the piano all night, and then next day comes down for his breakfast, and John Barry says to him, "Do you want to hear this song that I've created?" And Michael Caine said yes, and then there you go. He was the first person to hear Goldfinger.
Wow.
So
So that's an
Gold
era
was
of
the only-
cinema that they need to get back to is this classical music and
And
not every movie has to go dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
talking
you know, I
about
don't think-
music, have you seen the
don't
John
think I've
Williams
been to-
documentary?
No.
Again,
You sent me it. I
I
haven't
did.
watched
You should watch
yet.
it.
I
is
know.
ab-
I haven't watched
great.
it yet, but
It's great. I can send it to you if you want. Big J. I can send it to you if you want it.
I'm
It's
6'4"
really good.
when I'm in real life, so I'm I'm up here for most people.
All right.
All
but
around.
I was going to say I don't think I've been to the cinema this year.
I went a couple of
What came out this year? Deadpool Wolverine. Had to see
Yeah, I
that.
went to see that.
I've got
Went to
kids
see
that want to keep up with comic book stuff, so with the Deadpool Wolverine, I mostly it's the same thing. I run a comic store, so if I don't go,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my back in the day, I had to go at 10 a.m. on Fridays when I owned my store in Cedar in back home because I had nerds that would come in and just tell me how great the movie was. I'm like, can't you let people watch it over the weekend before you start spoiling things?
Yeah, that's
And,
the problem. See, when you see a good film, you want to talk about. You want to talk about it with your
Yeah,
friends.
and they come right to the comic shop where everybody was hanging out, and that's why I would.
And nowadays with social media, you can't avoid it. I will.
Well, that's why I don't
say-
watch Friday Night Tights when a big movie comes out.
I haven't been to the cinema in many years.
I love the cinema. If
I've
there's a
seen
film,
This year that was good.
I'll probably go and see Juror #1 as well because it's Clint Eastwood's last film, so I'll
Yeah.
probably go and see that in the
Mm.
cinema. So
But
Mm.
I'll say,
We'll see.
I would say, I will never diss the 90s for 5 reasons.
and they are.
Babylon's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
All right, okay.
And actually, Babylon 5 was peak 90s. I think 93. I think it came out.
Yeah.
And towards the end of that, from a Brit's point of view, I really, really enjoyed a lot of The West Wing.
Yeah, I like The West Wing. I thought it was
Um,
quite fun.
I couldn't.
Hey,
I couldn't separate
yeah.
politics.
A lot of
Yeah, I know.
a lot of right ringers probably didn't watch that show because it was what that was Clinton era, wasn't it?
It was
Or-
a love
I think so.
letter to Bill Clinton, pretty
Yeah.
Well,
much.
it was, but what I find interesting is I've said a lot of the people I talk to in America have said that for that particular purpose, but because it was an American thing. But I found it really interesting. I'm just wishing. Okay, I wish they'd stop trying to make that real life just with the others, just with the side swaps. Could you please stop making these things real life? The thing with they're talking. We're reminded of with Trump is supposed to be having was it Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, and someone else who were all non-Democrat, non-Republicans, supposed to be taking him into his cabinet. The last season of The West Wing revolved around an election and the fallout of an election, and the upshot. But basically, what I really mind of is at the end, you've got Jimmy Smith wins. Was originally supposed to lose apparently, but one of the major stars passed away. They wrote that in and reran the script because they thought a bit too much. And he appoints his opponent. So therefore, the Republican candidate, Adam Alden, is appointed as Secretary of State. So I thought that's come to me in mind. I thought, great, if they're doing this, you can bring this in. You can bring people in because our side doesn't seem to be quite as severe as yours, but it seems to be the last few years or decades. It really is a case of we can't have such a thing as friendly disagreements.
I will probably get copyright struck for this, but I'm still playing the thick of it.
I'm very
Not
glad
much
you
swearing in this
brought that
one.
up because that gives me the opportunity to. Sorry,
Here he comes.
hi.
I love
Nothing
this
about-
clip.
I have always maintained very clearly.
Sorry. Can
that-
I just borrow them and stuff for a moment?
Sure. Sorry.
Be right back.
Right with you.
You know what he's going to do.
Angela, can I get you a fresh cup of coffee or?
And you see Hugh in the background trying not to laugh.
No biscuits or anything. But do let me know if you need anything else, Angela. Thanks.
Even without context, I like it.
Well, you just go
Bit of a
further back to
disagreement.
that.
Blimey.
Yeah. Could you?
Anyway,
Do you know what?
I've been as well.
I've been watching films with my niece, and it's really fun to see my niece watch films,
This is
films that
interesting.
I like through her eyes. It's
okay.
you know, so we're watching. Oh yeah, I watched. What's that? Oh okay. I watched Beverly Hills Cop with her a couple of nights ago.
Great film.
She did look at her phone 5 times though throughout it.
Yeah.
But she did. Yeah, she seemed to enjoyed the film. So it's quite interesting to see what people think of old films these days. So, well, old films, I say. You know, for us it isn't old, I guess. But yeah, interesting.
It's old. It's
old.
It's old. Yeah, it's old.
80s.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I saw the best meme the other day. It was a guy was laying in the bed and it said, someone said something about 30 years ago, and I was thinking it was the 70s. Turns out it was the 90s, and now I need a nap.
Yeah.
Did you say 30 years to me? I think, oh yeah, the 70s. Oh no, that was when I graduated high school. That was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
So many great films.
Absolutely.
So many great films. I wonder how it would have been that far or that long ago if we would have this technology we get online to talk about and criticize and nitpick every little thing that came out.
You know how many movies would have been solved earlier if they only had a cell phone?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, right? People in the night, so people were thinking the same things they're actually saying on social media, but they didn't have an outlet to put it out. Now they do. Do you know what I mean? And also, people
take that away from people.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
Freedom of
a lot of
speech is
people-
great, but only as far as you can yell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they you know, when they get angry, they can put it on social media. You know, that's the thing. So look at all those people, all those lefties were screaming on their was it TikTok and stuff.
Dude, the first thing I posted was the scene where Cartman is licking up Scott Tinnerman's tears at the chili cook-off.
I
Oh,
was
you did your
watching-
sweet tears. It was so funny. You people need to relax. Relax. It's not like the president changed anything in the last 4 years. You know, they can make it a little worse or a little better, but unless they make real, like, the one thing I thought was the biggest mistake, I don't understand why it happened. I'd love to hear the reason, was when Joe Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline, like day one. And that's when I realized, oh, it doesn't really matter if you're president or not. If another president can come in 4 years later and just start signing a bunch of executive orders reversing everything that you did while you were a president, what's the point of being president? Get that executive order out the door right now.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the fact that they say that one of the saving graces of a democratic system, or however you want to call it, is that, okay, if something goes wrong, you can vote the other side, another vote in, who will actually maybe change it. But yeah, I mean, if the first thing you do, I saw that, I mean, I was like, was it something ridiculous, like his first day or his first week in office, he signed 30 executive orders basically purely to undo things that Trump had done.
Yeah, everything he was told to do. Yep, everything his little puppet ass was told to do.
That's not politics. That's not government. That is
dictatorship.
spite. No. That's
Well,
spite.
spite.
But I mean, I think the first, it's alive. I think the first stream I actually saw was a chap called Gobby Guy, got the Gobster, and he was going to mug for the tears. He was doing the Cartman one as well.
Incredible that these people that went on TikTok started crying. One woman had shaved her hair off, and it's
how
just
self-important
incredible.
These people are deranged that they think that we need to see their people need to look. I'm so sad. Look at me cry. How about go work? How about go contribute to society? Go help a lady across the street. Something.
What got me about that one was that one with the hair thing was, okay, as I understand it, supposedly she was doing that to make herself look less attractive, so she wouldn't be raped.
Yeah, that's what she said.
I thought,
that was the worst. Yeah, that was the worst thing to come out of this. Was
that do you think that's going to happen to you?
Yeah, there's people that honestly feel that all their rights are going to be taken away, and women will be, and gay people will be enslaved. I'm like, we don't want any of that. We just want the country to function like a country. is supposed to function, where everybody has rights and our money is managed properly and the laws make sense. And we don't have China buying up land around every one of our Air Force bases.
Yeah.
Mm.
And also, I mean, I'm not Catholic. I'm not a Catholic. I have no disrespect for you, gentlemen.
Get off then.
But
how dare you, sir?
Sorry, I won't tell you what I was christened in that case. But I was christened, so there you go. You see, I went to.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. My primary school was named after a saint, which probably tells you it wasn't a Catholic school. It was probably a CV school, which is something I did clock a lot later on. Hold on a second. The Church of England doesn't actually canonize, only as I understand it. I think the Eastern Orthodox Church does, but of the Western Church.
So you're Muslim then?
Only the Catholic Church canonizes. But when I was working at library, going to a lot of schools, most Catholic schools are Holy Family, this, etc., etc. Very few of them are actually saints, whereas a lot of Church of England schools are named for saints. A lot of church, because I went to St. Nicholas, my school was St. Nicholas, which was also our local CV church.
A few of those. A few of ours are named after
Catholic schools were mean. The Catholic school I went to, right, we had the ruler, we had the cane, we had the slipper. Do you know what I mean? And
nicer over here.
I think part of that was the times as well. I mean, I had that, but you also had the proverbial Catholic school guys. We weren't good. But what I was going to say was that I still say, okay, so
I think you should stick to one subject, Archer.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I cannot do that. There's a reason I'm an Archer. That's the only way I can do anything straight is 1 hour at a time. But the thing is that a lot of these things seem to be complaining about their reproductive rights. Sorry. No. The A word is not talking about, mate. The A word is not supposed to be a form of birth control.
This is the biggest topic that comes up. And you want to start a fight. If you want to start a fight, I've got friends who are conservatives who, one especially, does not like my viewpoints on abortion. And I'm like, well, it takes all of my being as a good person not to say, well, there's one way to look at it, then there's the wrong way to look at it. And it's not. I used to Uber drive, and then I used to party at bars. So I have seen the results of binge drinking all night long. And it was thrown at me a million times in conversation about, my right to choose, my right to choose, my right to choose, my right to choose. And this is going to get me in trouble. But I was like, you had several things you could have chosen to do before you got to that point.
Yeah.
Where you're deciding whether or not you want to kill your baby. And they get so mad. And I think a lot of that comes from the guilt, the feeling that deep inside they know that that's the wrong decision. And
also, sometimes I think, when I was at church on Sunday, they do these sermons, okay, right? So, and the sermons are okay, right? But I keep thinking to myself, why are they not addressing the transphobe, this, that, the other? Why is the church not addressing that now? This is one of the biggest threats to our society, especially in England, where if you say something that doesn't go against the authority, police are going to knock on your door for saying something hateful, which is ridiculous. So I just don't understand why we're not talking about it.
My thought was that if Harris won, we might be going down that road. Or if you say that a woman is not a man, that's hate speech.
Well, someone said, women's rights. Okay, fine. First question: can you define what a woman is for me, then, please?
No, but also, right, it's all right for them to think like, oh, I'm this and I'm that. But when they're in an accident, the doctor has to make a choice whether they're a man or a woman and operate and go forward with that. Do you know what I mean? They can't treat the person as what they think they are. Do you know what I mean? So the whole thing is stupid. But I don't know.
I identify as a tauntaun.
So if you're a tauntaun, then basically I'm going to be looking for all that white thing that comes out of your stomach, right?
He's talking about Empire Strikes Back, and now I'm triggered. All I can think about is my cool Empire Strikes Back.
Oh no!
My kids got this for me for Christmas last year. It is a Wampa with detachable arm, which is awesome.
Nice.
Have you seen that little kid on what is it? They play every Halloween where he's dressed as Luke Skywalker and he's riding a tauntaun. And I think
You
it's a
have
father
never
that
felt
made the film.
jealousy like
Oh,
I
yeah.
have. Every time I see that video, I'm like, I don't care how old I am. I want my
Yeah,
tauntaun costume.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. It's really good, isn't it? It's really
It's the
good.
best. His dad loved Star Wars because he worked on that costume.
Yes, he did.
Maybe mom did.
And also, the little kid was like looking at his communicator in his hand and wiping the snow off it. And I was thinking, wow, that kid's probably watched that film like a million times, you know?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
pretty amazing.
The only one that beats that is the dad who got his son a predator costume, like the hunter, the
wow.
predator. And the video is he's got the mask on, the whole thing, the claws, and he goes, "Okay, son, tell everybody what you are." And he goes, "I'm a child predator." And he goes, "Yeah, we got to work on that title." He was like 12, 15, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Not a nice thing to say, really.
You can probably find that in
doesn't
3
work.
seconds. I have to type his
Yeah.
predator costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'd want to put. I'm not sure I'd want to put anything in a search.
Yeah, he was so deadpan. Like, yeah, we got to rework that title.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking for the IT crowd where they were talking about the guy by the name of Peter File.
Oh, no.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
no.
That's hilarious.
Let's see. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
You know, my
That's
favorite
like
Brit was coming to Detroit for a convention, and I couldn't believe he was going to show up. But John Cleese was going to be in Motor City for a convention. I think he's still confirmed. And I was like, you know what? I'm not setting foot in Detroit, but I really hope he does some other con. I hope he starts showing up to other cons because that is a 5-star stellar draw. John Cleese, by the way. Please come to Chicago. There's 2 great conventions. Come to Chicago.
Was it Detroit that someone was saying that some big pop star, was it Lizzo, was apparently said that one of the things that turned the election was Lizzo got up and said that if Harris wins, we'll turn the entire America into Chicago.
No, she turned America into Detroit.
Detroit, that's it. Yeah, Detroit.
There we go.
You're back to normal.
Yes, he is proper normal, isn't he? He's taking me to Paris this weekend.
Ah, Paris.
Oh, have you been to Paris, Moss?
No. I've heard of it.
Oh, Peter, I got that link for the Firefox extension you were asking about. What's your email address?
Do you have a pen and paper?
I'm recording.
It's filepeter@hotmail.com.
File Peter. Why File Peter?
Well, File is my second name.
Oh, right, I see. Peter File.
Who's a paedophile?
No. His name is Peter File.
His name is paedophile.
Don't say it like that. It sounds like pedophile.
Isn't that what he just said?
No, Peter File.
Pedophile.
Peter.
I gotta rewatch the IT
Do you know what,
crowd.
right? Well, what I find interesting about the show is, and if the Americans had did it right, the girl would have been smarter than the other two. But the girl in It Crowd, she's just as thick as the other two, aren't, isn't she?
That's one of those words again. I find interesting where the Americans and Brits tend to pronounce it slightly differently because I've heard most Americans pronounce it pedo.
Yeah, pedo.
And we pronounce it pedo.
Yeah, pedo.
Pedo would be the oddly enough, that's one of our slangs. Like, what's that guy? He's a pedo, you know.
Oh yeah, it is for us as well. Yeah, but I mean, I said it's interesting that you
To soften up the subject though, as fun names go. Every now and then when I'm ordering comics, I'll see a variant cover by my favorite artist name is her last name's Cola, like Coca-Cola. First name's Betsy, so her parents named her Betsy Cola.
Brilliant.
And I want to meet her so bad. I've got a couple of her books. I just want to high five her. Say, tell your parents I said thank you. Because every Friday when I'm going through my final order cutoff date, my FOCs, I'm like, that's Betsy Cola. My boss, he laughs.
So I gotta start wrapping up. I gotta head out in a bit.
Sure.
But anything to plug? Besides the bell?
Well, my Facebook page has gone down.
I saw that.
Somebody hacked into it. It's completely gone. Both of them, the Rebecca Gold page and my personal page. So I'm trying to sort it out, but it doesn't look. I'm not getting anywhere, so I might have to recreate them. It's a shame, really, because I think Rebecca had 700 people, and my other one had 700 people as well. So I don't know. So I'll have to recreate them all. It looks like, but maybe this is a good thing. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah. If I see you surrounded by loads of girls one more time, Father. I'm like,
Oh, you mean the soccer?
All your
Yeah,
team
the
pictures
soccer
with
league,
the
yeah, yeah.
volleyball and yeah.
yeah.
No, well, the volleyball team's doing really good. Our soccer season ended, but those girls are devout Catholics, and just so proud of them. We
Yeah.
have a Newman Center event tonight, which I'm going to, where some of them will be at.
Cool.
Good for them. Congratulations on such a
So-
successful season too.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'm
Archer,
gonna
anything
plug,
before? Oh, go ahead, Jess.
I'm going to plug this because I've thrown everything I have behind this. I have pushed this on everybody like it's every drug in my box. Even Image Comics is calling this next week the release of the decade. And I'm like, I read the whole thing, and it is. If you're a Joe fan, this is you getting back into comics. Robert Kirkman has taken G.I. Joe and Transformers and done something great with them. And his own book, Void Rivals, which is what Robert Kirkman does. He takes something, gets you into it, then he says, well, here's mine too. And it's also included in this. The whole universe is really good. And if you haven't got to your local shop and picked up some good books, there are good books to read. There is no politics. There's no politics in this. It is just characters doing stuff. Story structure the way it's meant to be done, because Image is a company that isn't owned by a giant corporation that they can just do whatever they want. They have to like sell books. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Everybody's really excited. I got customers that are coming. We used to sell 2 G.I. Joe copies a month, and now that Image has it, we're selling. Larry Hama still writes his G.I. Joe, which is separate from that. It's a continuation of his series from back in the 80s that he's been working on, and we sell 2 of that. Now we sell 15 to 20. This book here, I've got 100 copies coming to the store. So yeah,
very good. Archer, anything?
Not really. I'm not sure what we're playing later on Tabletop Junkies channel. We're doing some sort of RPG. I'm not sure what. And I think we might be doing something on Saturday with a game.
Isn't PJ meant to be coming back? I saw a
I hope
post by him.
Yeah, I hope so. He's been Alex has been talking to him a few times.
Say I miss him.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Because I mean, he's the one that actually He's the one that actually wanted to do the role playing, and he's the one that actually arranged in the first place with Tabletop. And then obviously had to drop up for health purposes, which is a shame. So yeah, I hope he does come back. Good if we can.
Okay. Well, I got to run. So thank you guys for joining me. We'll do it again next week if you're around.
Hopefully, yep, should be.
Okay. And thanks to everybody watching. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, folks.